A week ago, so you can see how he is doing. So great job out of him. It is 7:29 right now. Welcome back to the program. Lou being joined by Michelle Brown. Always great to have you here.
I'm a little rough here this morning, but I'm going to smooth it out. By 8 o'clock, I'm going to be in full swing of things here.
And always great to have Kim Baer joining us in studio.
Yes.
And of course, Kim, this time of year, although we haven't experienced any bad weather on the roads as of late, you know it's coming.
You know it's coming. You know we're going to have some ice. You know we're going to have some snow. Of course, we have car accidents all year round, but in the wintertime, you know, we see those go up.
It ramps up a little bit.
It really does.
Especially the first day, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, because, you know, I think even though we know how to drive in it, we forget, you know, and sometimes, I mean, you know, we've had some fog, you know, it's been a little cold, and so you kind of think, all right, I'm safe, and then you hit that black ice. Mm-hmm. So I thought this morning we'd talk a little bit about what happens when you're in a car accident, and maybe just a couple things, you know, that you should know.
Just some of the reminders, because obviously you're not in a car accident every day, and hopefully you're not in a car accident, period. But when it happens, I'm sure your mind is going 100 miles an hour.
Right, absolutely. And so some of the things that we've talked about before on the show that I just want to touch on real quickly is, number one, always make sure that you call the police, because we do need that accident report. Otherwise, a lot of times what happens is, you know, if I rear end you and we agree we're just going to exchange information and we're not going to call the police, there's nothing that prevents me from later saying, you know, you pulled out in front of me, or you were swerving, or, you know, so people change their stories.
It really shouldn't be an option. It should be an automatic thing.
It should be an automatic, you know, and, you know, so calling the police, even though it's a hassle, I know we're all in a hurry to try and get to, you know, to our work and everything.
Because some people are saying, well, if I call the police, then I'm going to get a ticket.
Right. Now, you know, and let me give you an example. So if you and I get in a car accident, let's say I rear end you, and we don't think there's much damage, and we both say, okay, you know, we're going to forget what Kim Baer told us. We're just going to go ahead and go to work. And we're not going to call the police. And let's say 2 days from now, you really start having some neck pain and some back pain, and you know, maybe now you're having headaches. And so maybe you're going to need some medical treatment because you've got a concussion, because you can get a concussion just from whiplash. Maybe you now have a herniated disc. I mean, there's all sorts of things that don't show up for a couple of days after a car accident. And now you come and you hire an attorney, and I'm saying, you know, I didn't cause that accident. You know, he was doing X, Y, and Z. He stopped suddenly, you know, or he
was on his cell phone.
Yeah. We don't get those defenses so much with regard to a rear end, because it's kind of clear how that happened. But, you know, a lot of times if somebody's got a green arrow and they turn and somebody didn't stop, that kind of thing, you know. So it just really is important to call the police and at least get that accident report in place. The other thing is, you know, we all have our cell phones, so take some photos. Take photos of the accident scene, take some photos of your car, take some photos of the other person's car, and then that way you've got them if you need them. Mm-hmm. So the other thing is, you know, in Iowa, you're required to have your seatbelt on. So please make sure you've got your seatbelt on. One thing I think our viewers should know is that in Iowa, if you are in a car accident, let's say I hit you again, and you didn't have your car accident, or you didn't have your seatbelt on. Even though I caused the car accident, if we were in front of a jury, they could reduce your damages by 5%. Because you weren't wearing your seatbelt. Exactly. So you want to make sure you have that on. Let's say you're just in a little fender bender. Let's say this time I rear end you. Might as well.
Hey, come on, bring it on.
You can have some fun this morning too.
That's right.
So let's say I'm
in a car accident for a while.
Oh, all right. Well, today's the day. Yeah. So let's say I rear end you, and it's clearly my fault, and so you need to get your car fixed, and you are hurt. Let's say, you know, you're having some headaches and some things like that. My insurance company is going to probably start calling you about trying to settle your property claim. You absolutely do not need a lawyer to do that. You should go on ahead and just negotiate that, because you're going to want to get your car fixed.
For the car damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just only for the car damage.
Okay.
And so some tips on that. Get on Kelley Blue Book and look up the value of your car. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to put in all the options. If you've got a sunroof, your car's worth more. What's the mileage on your car? Another thing that people forget is, did you just put new tires on it? For instance, if the car's totaled, a car with brand new tires versus a car with used tires, very different value.
Especially nowadays, how much tires cost.
Yeah, exactly. Another tip is the insurance company's first offer to settle your car damage is just that. It's a first offer. So don't just...
See, this is where people really make a mistake. They'll jump on the first one. But that is, again, that's like just throwing the lure out there.
Exactly, to see if you'll take it. And they try to be fair. I sue insurance companies all the time, but my experience with regard to property damage is that in general they try to be fair. But if you get on Kelley Blue Book, there can be a swing of $1,500 to $2,000 in the value of the same car, depending on the options, depending on whether or not it's in bad condition, good condition.
Car, sure.
Yeah, and then make sure also on Kelley Blue Book that you look at retail value, not a trade-in value. So that will also differ by as much as a couple $1,000s.
What the car is worth on the marketplace.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And it's kbb.com, by the way, is Kelley Blue Book.
Yes, exactly. So you want to make sure you look at that.
Not that I have that memorized.
You've obviously been there a time or two.
Yes. Well, kind of a car guy, I think. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. And then one other point that is something we haven't talked about much on the program, and that is if I'm riding with you and we're married and we're in a car accident, if I'm hurt, I also have a claim as a passenger. Or if we're in a car accident and you're hurt but I'm not, but now I've got to take care of you. I've got to take time off of work to take you to your doctor's appointments. Now I have to do all the laundry. I've got to carry all the groceries. Maybe you were in charge in our marriage of mowing the lawn. Now I've got to go do that. That's called loss of consortium, and that's a claim in Iowa. So even though I wasn't hurt in the car accident, I have a claim as your spouse for all the additional things I now have to do.
Now, would this be just if your spouse was in the car during the accident, or is it if your spouse in general?
That's an excellent question. It's your spouse in general.
So if you're in an accident and your spouse has to end up taking care of you and doing the things you normally did, that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Too.
Let's say I was at home, watching TV, and you're in a car accident, and maybe you've broken your leg or something, and now I've got to take you to your doctor's appointments. I have to do all the grocery shopping, all that type of stuff. I have a loss of consortium claim.
Really?
Yeah, so you have a claim for your injuries.
I didn't know that either.
So you just want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. And then remember, if you're a passenger in a car, even let's say I'm a passenger in a car with you and you hit a deer. Okay, so probably not your fault. I mean, you hit a deer. But if I'm hurt, I have a claim against your insurance company. So, and I probably have a claim also under my insurance policy. So because I was in a car and I was hurt, even though it's really nobody's fault. So you just want to, people assume a lot of times, oh, it was nobody's fault, so I'm just stuck. I've got a broken leg or a broken arm, and I'm just going to have to tough it through. Nope, car accident insurance covers all of that. But
the one thing to keep in mind too, you did mention if you did get involved in a fender bender of any kind, getting your car fixed is separate than the medical claim.
Yes, it absolutely
would
is.
the same insurance company be the same people paying the medical claim as opposed to the car claim?
Yes, that's exactly right. And you have to remember that adjuster is going to be calling you almost every day, trying to be your best friend. How you doing? And if you say, oh, I'm doing better today, okay, that went in the computer notes. On this day.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Everything you say goes in the notes?
Everything you say goes in the notes and will be held against you later. So trust me. So the answer should always be, how you doing? Oh, a little sore. A little sore, or I'm not sure. I want to give this a couple of weeks because, frankly, if you're not feeling too bad after a couple of weeks, you're probably okay. But whiplash can take 3-4 days to show up. So don't just hurry up and take whatever money they offer you, even if you need the money, because once you settle your personal injury claim, you're done.
You sign off on it.
You can't come back in later and say, hey, now I've got this neck problem. They're going to say, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So for the people who are concerned about getting an attorney involved, how do I pay for that? Or I'm not able, the accidents caused me not to be able to work, or how do you kind of address those concerns for people?
Yeah,
because it sounds like it's something that they do need to get somebody like you involved.
Exactly.
Know what's
what I'll tell you, that's a great question. What I'll tell you is that most lawyers, if not all lawyers that I know that handle car accidents, we all do it on a contingency fee. So you come in, there's no charge for meeting with us, and then we're not going to charge you anything unless we get you money. So it always kind of sounds a little kitschy. I feel like it's a like if you're watching a commercial,
Right.
but that is how it works. I mean, so there's no
That's
money
the
out of
reality
your.
of the situation.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I'll have people come into my office. They've been trying to negotiate because maybe they're done treating and they just don't feel like the insurance company's being fair. And we'll sit down with them and say, okay, here's what we think the value of your case is. So are we going to have value added? I mean, are you going to be able to pay us and put more money in your pocket? Because if not, then there's no point in hiring us. And we are very open with people about that.
And you're able to figure that out.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, we'll come in because so I've been doing this for 28 years, so I kind of have a pretty good idea of what's whiplash
you might have
worth.
it down by now.
I would hope.
All right, so people want to get in touch with you to get some information from you. We talked about a lot of things here this morning.
We did. So you can give us a call at the office, which is 515-279-2000, or we also have a hotline, 515-INJURED.
Okay. And one final question before we go. Say you did end up getting a settlement,
Yes.
and it was for a substantial amount.
Yeah.
Will you get taxed on that?
As long as it is for your personal injuries and your medical bills, no, none of that's taxable.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. If some of the money is allocated to lost wages, then arguably that portion is taxable.
Right.
And again, that's something we have to look at when you sign the release.
There you go.
Yeah. Another reason to have an attorney.
That works.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We don't know those things.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim Baer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's 7:41, and we will be right back. This is CWI Live in West Des Moines. Great sunrise.